Hello and welcome everyone to the Sun and Moon Update Show. My name is Gormizer, and we are here to finally convene again at the round table with a glorious and meaty update coming forward with you. Joining me, as you can see already, Molly is right next to me, but also joining me is going to be Kevin.
Yeah.
As some of you might remember him as
Blue without an E.
Io and Blue. Blue does not have an E, but that's Blue,
Can you speak?
hands down going to steal the show today and also probably be a distraction. And then Romanova there on the end. And, you know, Kevin, you haven't been on here for a little while, so you're making a statement, I think, to say the least.
Coming out
to come
strong
in.
on this Patch Note show. We got our voice actor or actress,
Yes.
Blue.
First time.
So this is going to be Luna in game. Well, part of the noises you're going to hear. So very excited to have her in studio on Patch Notes. She's the star of the show, actually.
Hands down. Easily the star of the show.
Absolutely.
And then Romanova, this is your first time here, so why don't you go ahead and tell people what you do?
Yeah, so I'm really excited. So I am Romanova. I am your new community specialist on Paladins. It's been a great ride so far. I previously am a QA analyst, so the cool thing about this position is I'm constantly looking and seeing the different issues that the community's having and just making sure that they get reported as fast as possible to our QA team to investigate. So the better your repro steps, the quicker we can look into stuff. So keep that in mind, folks, but keep up the good work because we really appreciate it.
It has been a great ride so far.
Well, as you said, you come through QA, a lot of things coming through. I'm going to be distracted by a dog probably 3 times, but that's actually really,
Don't
really
talk
convenient.
about Kevin that way.
He's going to distract me a little bit too. Either way, it's going to be really, really fun. But bug fixes galore. Once again, the hunt is going to be the first thing that we come through and talk about. And the hunt has been this prerogative this entire year to go through, track down, and let you know about things we already know about that need to be fixed or things that we are fixing for this update. And so I will leave this to both of you to be able to come through, Romanova and Kevin, to just go through and talk about the bugs and fixes.
Alrighty, so we're gonna get started. We're gonna do this in alphabetical order. Okay.
Sounds good.
Run down the list. We're gonna go with champions, like changes, fixes first, right? So we're gonna go with Androxus. So with Androxus, we fixed an issue with sleight of hand where the card would activate regardless of ammo count, whether Nether Step was used for the first time after respawning or entering a match, as well as we improved the Androxus dash.
Yeah, so we actually made a bug fix to remove the ability for Androxus players to be locked out of their ultimate. By doing that, we added a little bit of delay to the dash. Obviously, this caused a number of other issues with players feeling that Androxus was a little bit unresponsive when you're trying to dash and shoot. We hotfixed, and we had believed we had removed that delay on all abilities other than a slight delay before the ult. Unfortunately, we missed a little bit, so Androxus should be back to feeling 100% if you felt like it's been any different on this next patch.
Yeah, should be back to good. All right, we're going to go down the list again. We're going to Atlas. So banished players will no longer gain or lose champion-specific resources for the duration. And now you can properly equip default weapon skins with the default skin. So good stuff there. Going into Cassie. So we fixed an issue where her foot and arm would appear broken in the champion menu. So
She's like really good at yoga. Like her ankle
Yeah,
is like
she-
twisted 180.
she knows how to stretch.
Yeah, she's
good.
She's been hitting yoga for a while now.
But we fixed her. She's not going to scare anyone anymore. So next we'll get into Dredge. So with Dredge, we fixed an issue with Kraken where character movement would not update the trace location properly, which resulted in the ability originating away from your crosshair.
Yeah, so just to give a little insight on this, if players play Dredge regularly, they probably notice instances where they feel like their Kraken wasn't releasing where their crosshair was. Just to give a kind of insight into that, there's a slight delay, about a 200 millisecond delay from when you actually activate the ability that allows Dredge to kind of further aim and refine it. Unfortunately, though, while your mouse crosshair was updating the trace appropriately to where it should go, if you were actually strafing left or right or doing movement through that, it wasn't. So that would result in a lot of instances of if a Dredge is retreating or moving or trying to dodge, the trace would not actually fire where your crosshair was. So all of those instances should be fixed, and now Kraken should release where you expect it to.
Yeah, release the Kraken. And then the last thing for Dredge is same with how we had it for Atlas. We can now properly equip default weapon skins with the default skin for him. And we're going to get into Grover. So for Grover, now crippling throw is now properly reduced by resilience.
Yep, that was a mistake. Now working appropriately. Also, something we actually don't have on patch notes here that I do want to talk about is that his radius, his heal aura radius, was not actually updating appropriately to both his new base when we changed it a few patches ago, as well as the Verdant Expanse card that increased it. So now that VFX aura will be, you'll see the true size of Grover's healing radius once you get in game, especially with Verdant Expanse 5. So should now be now you should be able to easily see what the range of Grover's heal is.
Yeah, good boy Grover. We're going to go next into Imani. So Imani's dragon no longer T-poses and persists in the world after death.
I don't think we should have fixed that one.
Yeah,
personally.
yeah. What a, some fixes, they're great, but, who doesn't like the T-posing the dragon, right?
I mean, gameplay-wise, I guess if the dragon's just, like, sitting there on the point, it's a little bit bad. But, yeah it's funny.
Just hanging out.
Yep.
So, all right. And then we're going to go into Makoa. Barrier Reef now activates multiple times in the same instance of Shell Shield.
Yep, it was only activating once, now activates multiple times. So, nice little fix there.
Yep. We have a couple to get through for Moji. So for Moji, the first one's really humorous, I guess, in a way, because it could be a little scary to see. But we restitched Cuddly Moji's left eye so it no longer sinks into itself.
That was a little bit odd.
That could haunt you in your dreams a little bit, but we're good now.
It's cute.
It's cute, yeah, it's cuddly. So we also fixed an issue where Moji would continue to use familiar spray while silenced, as well as we fixed an issue where Moji could see third-person VFX such as Hunter's Mark or Mending Spirits in first person.
Yep, and that's actually the opposite. It was so we miswrote that on patch notes. She will still have access to familiar spray while silenced because it's an in-hand ability instead of an actual like normal ability, or it's an in-hand attack instead of a normal ability. So it was being silenced inappropriately.
So Moji fixes in. We're going to skip down the alphabet, going right into Shaolin. So with Shaolin, Reticle now blooms while jumping, and we also fixed an issue where explosive arrows would slow Shaolin after they hit.
Yep, annoying bugs now fixed.
Yep. Strix, we fixed an issue that allowed players to unintentionally break the weapon swap between for the animation between pistol and Talon rifle.
Yeah, you would get a basically an instant fire without zooming in, no spread weapon shot on Talon rifle by basically firing and swapping at the same time, breaking an animation. Now no longer the case.
All right, and we're almost through the end of the characters here, but Torvald, we fixed an issue where when polymorphed with his personal shield active, his shield would no longer visually display for the remainder of the game, and also no longer retains his personal shield while polymorphed.
Yep, the mechanic of polymorph, Torvald should not have had his personal shield remain, no longer the case.
All right, and for Vivian, we have Joyless Eyes card now properly updates the VFX ring on deploy to match the increased area.
Exact same thing we did with Grover. VFX aura wasn't being updated properly.
And last but not least, we have Ying, where just a little bug here. Replicant Ying now plays the correct VFX on low particle settings.
Yeah, it was just the different color. I think it was purple when it's supposed to be blue. So that's not what you were supposed to see. Now Roland, our VFX guy, has cleaned that up for you guys.
Little stingy thing, all fixed now. So we're just going to run through real quick so we can get to the rest of the show here, folks.
Knock these out. Some
general ones, going to knock them out of the park here. So we cleaned up some environment in the Shattered Desert that players were able to improperly look through. The ad refer now sends players to the correct webpage, sending you to the right place.
Yep.
Always very important. Players can no longer access the item purchase menu after the top play preview. Mm-hmm. Options menu dialogue between escape and interacting with the exit button is now consistent.
Yeah, so when you would hit escape versus hitting the X in the upper right-hand corner would actually bring up two different menu prompts. Now those are one for one the same.
Okay. And the achievement, Citizen of the Realm, it was not able to be completed after logging in for 7 days consecutively, and that is fixed now, so you can get that achievement. Great. And we fixed an issue where cards that activated off kills or eliminations would not activate multiple times if players were killed by the same instance of damage. Those including Impact for Evie, Watchful for Androxus, One Man's Treasure for Barrack, Stomping Grounds for Buck, Fearless Leader for Fernando, Rolling Stones for Ainara, Inheritance for Leanne, Feed the Spirits for Maldamba, Peppy for Moji, Primal Might for Tyra, Just Believe for Willow, and Encouragement for Ying. And we also fixed instances of clipping, pesky clipping bugs, with the 8-bit mount on the following champions: Ashe, Bomb King, Buck, Cassie, Drogos, Fernando, Furia, Grok, Grover, Ainara, Genos, Lex, Makoa, Maldamba, Moji, Ruckus, Shaolin, Tyra, and Vivian.
Yep. Number of bug fixes in this one.
Yep. And we hear you guys loud and clear. Trust us. We are constantly on work, on the job here, right? And last but not least, just the last section is stuff that's under investigation. We hear you guys and gals out there. We hear you and the issues that you're having right now. One of the biggest ones is definitely that lag issue with the EU and Latin America. That is under investigation. We are looking into a way to fix that. It is top priority, so please hang in there with us, and we appreciate everything. The reports help, videos, everything that you guys have been doing. It helps with this investigation, and we are getting to the bottom of it as soon as possible. We also have just some minor Terminus issues under investigation, such as his ult in certain situations not working, as well as him getting into a bug state with certain abilities where they aren't fully animating. And then we constantly see a lot of friends lists disappearing. That is something that usually fixes itself, but we want that to be consistent so you don't have to worry about that in the future. So we are trying to work our way through there to make sure that that just doesn't happen anymore and that it's constantly there. So that's about all I have for the hunt.
That's all the hunt. It's a lot of things.
Just a small section. Yeah. And actually, it's funny because as much as the hunt normally would cover, I'd say it's usually a third of the update show. Mm-hmm. This one's even as big as it can be is a little smaller because of the content we have coming forward.
We got a lot of things today.
We can at least solve the mystery of the wig as it comes forward.
Speaking of the wig, I do want to give a shout out to Sarah Anderson, one of the riggers on our team at Evil Mojo, who actually made this. She's actually obviously making a cosplay for herself and not for me. Yeah. Mm-hmm. And she started with the wig just so we can show it off here.
Are you saying that this isn't for you?
I mean, I may just.
I can't remember what the in-game model looks like, but you should rock it. I think you could do it.
You really think? Yeah. You really think this is
100%.
Okay.
Well, maybe we'll check out the in-game model.
We'll have to. Let's see what's going on. Then we'll make our decisions later on. But before we get to a new champion, before we get to a new battle pass that we have a little later, we're going to go through the balance section as well as the things that are changing here. And there's actually one little addendum you wanted me to throw at the very beginning, and it's to do with starter loadouts and changes that are going to be happening for, I think, a lot of champions.
Yeah, so we have redone, I believe, over 25 starter loadouts. Obviously, Paladins has been around for a while. The meta has shifted a lot. Cards have changed, and starter loadouts have not been updated in tow with that. So now, actually, one of our QA analysts, Anthony, who's actually you're going to be seeing him, on the camera today, controlling everything, actually went through our champions and made starter loadouts that were more beneficial, mostly to new players, right? A lot of self-healing, self-sustain, things that we think will help players when they first play a champion.
And it's going to be a lot of just, I guess, initial good feels for every single person coming through. And another big change that is happening this one that is not champion related, but I'm thoroughly excited for this. I didn't realize how excited I would be over something like this because it seems kind of small, but it's going to be, I think, impactful. And it is that we are introducing map rotations.
Yes, for ranked exclusively, I think it's important to say here. We are going to now have a ranked map rotation for every split that we come out. So that's going to be every 2 months. We're going to be rotating maps. We're going to have 10 active and 4 reserve to start. We have 14 total maps now. Obviously, with that total number of maps, it's hard to see everything. We feel like it was a little bit too much, and now we can kind of refine what maps we want players to focus on in a ranked split. So for this first split 4, we're going to have 10 active maps. It's going to be Bazaar, Ascension Peak, Warder's Gate, Jaguar Falls, Fish Market, Shattered Desert, Bright Marsh, Serpent Beach, Frozen Guard, and Split Stone Quarry. And then we have 4 reserve maps, which will be Stone Keep, Frog Isle, Ice Mines, and Timbermill. So you will not see those 4 maps specifically in ranked only for the 2 months of Split 4.
And that's going to be an interesting time. No Frog Isle for a lot of people, I can feel.
Yeah, and
and
this
ranked is
this-
going to change the pace of their game.
This is obviously this is the first time we're introducing it, so feel free to give us feedback. Once the split goes live, we're gonna kind of analyze.
Yeah.
Maybe we do 8 live maps, maybe we do 12. We're gonna kind of play with this and see what players like as we go along.
Again, kind of dip your toes into the water, see how it's going to feel. This kind of thing could be changed in the future or reverted, like depending on how you want to go with it. Like you said, maybe there's going to be less maps available, maybe more maps available, depending on how things go. But now we can jump forward, moving towards Androxus, who's receiving not only the bug fixes earlier, but also an interesting talent change that is going to come through, which is completely, like, it's a complete change.
Yes. So if you've been following us on social media, you've probably heard this already. Androxus, and this is actually an AOC request, mostly driven through a lot of community feedback wanting Androxus' old revolver to return. We like how his revolver is at base now. We think it's good for him, but we do want to give players the ability to kind of access that more high skill cap. Slower fire rate, higher recoil revolver. So you can see it in here right now. It's going to be doing a lot more damage. We have increased the damage from 520 to 600. It does not lose accuracy when it's fired. Its maximum fire rate has decreased from 0.5 seconds to 0.36, and it's no longer semi-automatic. So all you old Andro mains, go rampant once we release this.
It's going to be, I think, big. There's so many players I know that, again, they main Andros still, but it was like they started a while ago. They played on this old weapon. They got good with this old weapon. So
and it's
maybe
important to
striking
note
the
that
fear
this
into
is
some people.
100% identical to what it was before when it
Yeah.
comes to fire rate, damage, and accuracy loss. So you're going to get exactly what Androx's
Same
revolver
feel.
was before.
The exact same. That I think is going to be interesting. That's actually one of 2 that's going to be happening, but the other one was a little later. Before that, we jump into Cassie, who's having a talent change and a card change. The card change is more internal cooldown, like you mentioned earlier with the bug fix. You fixed her flexibility. She can't somersault as well anymore.
That's exactly
But
what it was.
Big game is getting a little bit of, it's getting reined in, is the better way to word it.
So Big Game, obviously a very powerful ability, very strong anti-frontline mechanic, but for 6 seconds that window was way too long, really, to justify it. Cassie felt like, or excuse me, on the other side of that, if you are a frontline that gets hit by disengage, it just feels like you can't do anything for 6 seconds. You have to retreat. And also, Cassie has so many windows to hit multiple shots on you to finish you off. This kind of brings that window down, makes it more reliant on Cassie being accurate instead of just having 6 full seconds to hit bonus damage shots.
And as I said, cooldown overall for somersault is getting increased, the internal cooldown for it, and that's just to kind of keep her from getting away as often, right?
So this is a change. We've slowly pushed Cassie kind of towards these changes where really a lot of her strength relies in not just her damage, but her ability to get away very quickly. She has a 5-second cooldown movement ability that instantly translocates her and is hard to track for unless you're a very high skilled player. And then she has a card somersault that allowed you to reset that dash, and you're getting somersaults like 3-4 times in a single 1v1, which was a little bit too much, too defensive. So we increased the internal cooldown of somersault, so when flanks are actually able to break the line, get to actually flank Cassie, it doesn't feel like she's able to dash away and create that distance.
Well, and speaking of flanks, Koga's actually the next one on the list.
Yep.
He's getting brought up a little bit to match some of the other flanks. It's going to be his ult charge rate is getting an increase at base, so he'll just inherently have this. And because of that, you're having to change around a little bit with Blood Reaper as talent.
Yeah, so we've done a number of adjustments to Koga as we've gone along. He was really strong on release, very frustrating to play against. We've kind of reined him in. And then now we're kind of giving him some love back to some stuff that we were a little bit hesitant to make powerful on his release. And this is another AOC request. Jay Flair actually made note of this specifically. So Koga, when we released his ultimate, it was a big AoE for a flank that could shred supports if they didn't have a movement ability. Very powerful, so we had to put a number of restrictions on it. One, it charged slower. Another, he's locked out at the beginning of it, so players can get away. But now, with kind of where he's fallen in the meta with his other shifts, we felt like he can get his ult back up to, I think, a normal flank standard. So we have increased it by 40%, which is it's a very large number. So we're going to see how Koga plays out with that.
And because of that, Blood Reaper's been changed now. So it doesn't increase the charge rate because he just got the charge rate increased. But you'll be able to move faster, so it'll be a little easier to chase people down as they're getting away.
You'll still
from
have
you.
that lockout at the start, but it's a little bit more flexible for Koga that he doesn't need to like ult right next to a player and to be able to kind of chase them down.
You'll finally be able to catch up to those pesky, I guess, other flanks at that point who are going really fast,
Yes.
but pretty much anybody. And, well, other flanks, speaking of them, Lex is coming through, and I'd mentioned with Androxus it was one of 2 changes. Lex is the other one getting his old weapons back.
Yep, again, another change to old school Lex. Players really like that weapon. AOC kind of expressed that. The community was really wanting them back. So, again, because of the talent system, we're able to give that back to you. Same stats as it was before, and just as an overview, it's no longer semi-automatic. Time between shots has increased from 0.35 seconds to 0.7 seconds. The damage has increased from 320 to 680, and the ammo count has been reduced to 6, and then no longer loses accuracy when fired. So you're going to see some big damage shots coming out from Lex there. You see much slower, but way more impactful when you're able to connect with enemies.
And I'm interested to see how this is going to play out, because this is one, like, I again, old weapons, when you play them, Lex has always felt really fun to me, so I'm excited to be able to get in and play Death Hastens.
High skill cap players, I think, are going to really enjoy this.
They're going to love it.
Yes.
And the next one that's on the list, as you see those, I'm going to rattle this one off myself. It's just Leon's getting a change, and it's just that Enlightenment, which can hit multiple people. It's not going to be affected by blast shields, so really just kind of making sure that those work, I guess, as intended.
Mechanic cleanup.
And then Maeve comes through, and this is another one that's kind of a mechanic cleanup, because this was actually, I think, a big debate at one point was, what does Midnight count as, and what should it affect, and what should it not affect?
Yeah, so Midnight is a very, very unique ability, and we have to decide whether it is CC or not CC. So we already have it affected by Resilience, and this is not a hard CC in that it's stopping your movement, but it is unique in that it's really restricting your ability to move around, right? Like, unless you are a player that has played enough that, like, oh, I've memorized the map and I know exactly where it is, it feels like a CC to players because of how strong that ability is. So it's already affected by Resilience, and now, just to clean up the mechanic for it, CC immune targets will also be immune to Midnight now.
And so you're going to be able to go through. I'm interested to see if counter ults are going to come through, where it's just like, I just don't want to be midnighted right now.
You can. But then obviously you're trading an ult for an ult, so we feel like it's something like that's probably worth it.
And it's a pretty fun balance, because that's also one that it's affected by Resilience already, so it's just kind of more in line with that, as it is a CC, so it's being affected by things that affect CCs. Moji's going to be having a collision size reduction, so no more getting caught on your dragon's left toe as you're like running through certain corridors.
Another AOC request. Moji can be really powerful, but is very punishable, very easy to hit. Her collision size was a little bit too large for what her character model is, so we've slightly reined that in. So she should feel a little bit more safe.
And I know we have a couple pro teams here already in the studio, and I think I can hear them already shouting with joy, because Pip is next on the list, and it's a card that has been kind of harped on a lot. It doesn't come through often, but when Pip is played, Moxie is 100% going to be in the loadout, and so it's, again, getting reined in.
So Moxie, we're nerfing it, right? So you're going to receive 6% increased healing per stack when below 50% health, and the big reason for this, right, is that this is kind of compounding upon a really powerful thing that Pip can do naturally, which is not many supports, or really no supports, have the ability to heal themselves. Quickly, instantly, in a burst fashion. Maldamba has his gourd, but obviously that's tick healing over time. It's slow. So Pip has this ability to instantly heal himself for a large portion of his health, and then we just amplify that into, he was almost getting a full life bar back. Sometimes, he was basically 1v1ing, you get him low, and then he's just like, oh, I'm full again.
And he didn't even care about
and he doesn't have to aim it, he just looks at the ground and he just presses the button, and it was way too powerful for the effect, and it was just, the card was amplifying an already natural benefit that Pip gains due to his kit.
And so now it's one of those things, especially because, like, I think a lot of people would look at it with Cauterize again, like 90% all of a sudden became 40%. You could just be like, cool, well, that healing doesn't matter to me. I'm just going to full tank it. So that's getting brought down. So instead of 10% per tick up to 50%, it's only going to cap off at 30% if you run that level 5. So I guess if you're a Pip main, maybe you're going to feel that one. Probably not that much. Not as much as people would like you to. But either way, it's going to be interesting. Willow is the next one on the list. And I'm always excited when I see Willow's name pretty much anywhere.
This is a big one. I've read a lot of feedback about Willow. And again, this is an AOC request. So Willow as a whole, before we get into like the details of it, is a very powerful character that when she's meta, can really define it, right? She has this, what we did a while ago was remove like Death and Taxes and other anti-caught abilities or cauterize abilities and cards from kits because it kind of threw off the scale of the game or the flow of the game because you're getting these really powerful effects that normally are reserved for late game at round 1, and it kind of almost made healers non-existent when they had to deal with it. So Willow specifically also has an ability that says 100% anti-heal.
Yep.
And this can be a really powerful effect, so we want to be careful. We don't want to just give her a ton of damage because we feel like that will push her to be very strong. We think that she's kind of on the edge, and really we just want to give players a better feeling of control with this character because right now she feels a little bit clunky to move around with, I think. Very slow, very easy to pick off. So, start off, sorry for my monologue there.
Oh, no, it's good.
Wand of Overgrowth, we've reduced the max fall-off damage, or increased it, I'm sorry. It now scales up to 50% of weapon damage, up from 30%. So, when you're hitting players on side, it used to only do 30% damage. Now it's doing 40% damage. So if you're not directly connecting with players, you will do up to 10% more damage if they're just on the edge. So it's a very slight increase to that.
Yeah.
The big one here is we have increased the range of Flutter. So this ability for a long time has felt a little bit slow. Doesn't really feel like you get a good amount of movement speed for it. This new ability with Flutter, you're going to be able to get a lot more height, a lot more distance. You can see no cards. This is just base Flutter right there. Also, this is a big effect on maps we found out. Previous locations that Willow would have to walk up and get around, like she can actually move from big points of maps to another and stay on high ground locations, which is one thing she's always struggled with, is kind of getting the height to actually make a blaster rocket launcher character feel good.
Yeah.
And we think this will allow her to kind of get that distance and be a little bit more weapon friendly.
And all of these changes seem to fit like perfectly with what you just said,
Yes.
right? Where it's just like, cool, you're making the weapon feel a little bit better for being a blaster. You're making the wings work a little better now. So she's going to come through. She understands how to fly a little better.
Yes. And speaking of fly, Fae Flight has gotten a big upgrade. Anthony, you just want to do a quick jump there? Yeah. So you can see now that the turning capabilities of this ultimate are way better, much more easier to use. Can you actually use Flutter into the ultimate here? I think we'll kind of show a good notice of this. Stay in 3P here too. So we've basically reduced the deacceleration that she had when turning. That kind of took her a little bit long to actually get. And I'm sorry, I'm rambling here. She had deacceleration when turning, specifically that made it slow to actually change directions. And we have reduced that, so she still has that slight delay, but it feels way more controllable for the player. And we think with the change to Flutter, a slight better feel to the weapon, and Fae Flight itself feeling much more controllable, that Willow's going to be in a great spot.
And I mean, with all of this, she's actually also getting a little card change in there as well. And it's going to be Flitter, just increasing the cooldown just a little bit.
Little
right?
nudge.
So it's going to be a little bit more at the top end, like if you invest a lot into it. But all in all, every single one of these is just Willow's going to feel better.
Yeah.
Yes, it's all about movement and feel for these changes.
That's going to be fun. I'm excited to play Willow again because I miss playing Willow a lot. But there's still going to be a lot of Leons out there. I'm going to have to deal with them. Either way, Ying is the last one on the list. And she's coming through with just a little bit, I want to say like a buff, although a lot of people I haven't seen running Illusory Mirror, haven't been doing as much based on her auto attacks, but this is going to help her out a little bit more in like the damage department.
It's just Illusionary Mirror is just weak right now, so we've reduced the fall off, so her weapon doesn't feel like you're just kind of like throwing bubbles at people at anyone past 50 yards. That's kind of what it felt like. You're like, here, take 20 damage. I'm like, oh, okay, I tickled them.
That's a minor inconvenience. How dare you?
So at range, you just feel a little bit better. It's not a massive change, but just going to give her that extra little bit of weapon damage for fighting people at longer distances.
And with that, I think Focusing Lens is also getting a little bit more damage kind of topped off onto it, just to, again, make it feel a little better.
The ability's weak. It's like a 5 or 6% win rate below what Ying's normal win rate is. The damage just really wasn't impactful enough, and so it's been increased from 150 to 200 when you hit all your bursts.
Well, I think it's going to be fun. That does actually end up concluding. Ying, it's kind of hard to go past Y in the alphabet.
Yes.
We could if we had something for Zen, but we're not going to.
My rambling is now
update.
done. My monologuing on balance is now done.
And if
Sorry
you've been
about that.
able to take a peek past the ears, if you can get past the wig, you might see a logo sitting behind the Shore Patrol, and that has been alluding to a new battle pass that is going to be coming with this update as well.
Yep.
This is one that,
There
I
it
mean,
is.
very timely considering we're right at the end of June coming into July here,
Yeah.
but also really, really good because I think, like you have said, Thunderbrush, a lot of people have been asking for skins like this for a while.
Yes,
Yeah.
they have. We tried something a little different for a summer battle pass last year with the Dragon's Call event, and definitely we got a lot of feedback that generally people felt we kind of missed an opportunity, more of a seasonal one with doing more summer fun kind of oriented skins, and that's really what this battle pass is all about, just kind of having fun.
And I think it almost immediately kicks off with a lot
Yep.
of fun because this is actually one that was hinted at on Twitter a lot. I
Yes.
remember there was actually a discussion
We
that we can
wanted-
get into with the hair, but it is going to be Shore Patrol Kinessa, which is the instant unlock for the Battle Pass.
Yes. Oh, sorry, I thought we hit hard.
Oh no, we can
My
come.
timing's great.
We're killing it today.
With the Shore Patrol Kinessa and as well as with the other skins, we really wanted to incorporate some group
there it
feedback
is.
because this was really meant to be an event kind of for the fans. So we wanted to make sure we were kind of hitting the right target. And Kinessa hadn't really had a skin where basically she didn't have a helmet on for quite some time, and yeah, this one just came out fantastic.
And I think we also have the turnaround, so you can see the hair there, and we can talk more about that in a little bit. But here's the voice lines.
Good vibes happen on the tide. Hey, you! You can't pee there. Keep it sunny.
So, like every lifeguard, she's armed with a knife
She is armed with a knife.
to make sure that everyone comes
Sometimes,
down.
sometimes just got to keep people in line at the pool.
But,
At the pool.
so she's coming through. Obviously, like there's a lot of cool things I think to break down in this. But one of the big things coming in this was that was thrown out like what 8 or more, 10 kinds of
Yeah.
hair to have for this skin, and finally you had a decision.
Yeah, we kind of landed on the decision pretty quickly from the fan feedback, but I kind of wanted to hold the final result to, as you see it here.
All the sounds. Shout outs to the water sounds.
Yeah.
The water sounds, and
And the
I
effects,
just want
the
to
effects is
throw out
wait.
how hard that water has to be coming out to deal that much damage. Like that stinks.
Yeah, it wouldn't feel great.
Do you know who you're
Yeah, the
impressive
weapons and the audio, the effects, really all came together to kind of sell that this is a water gun and just feels awesome. It's far and away probably my favorite gun for Kinessa.
Yeah, this is up there for me too.
The VFX are incredible though.
Finding the crits, finding the
I've
shots.
never
I
heard
love
the rescue.
skins like this. Like this is going to be one of the battle passes that I know I'm
Yeah.
immediately going to start going into because
Yeah.
I always love like water and summer-based skins, and I'm sure a lot of
Yeah.
the community obviously agree since they were requesting a lot of this. And this is probably like again, this is the instant unlock. This is what you get just for getting the battle pass. So if you want this, it is
Yeah.
immediately there for you.
Going into this kind of round of art, we were a little concerned on how we were going to kind of execute the feeling of water tanks on these kind of water guns, but Adam, our weapons lead, and his team really kind of just nailed it.
Yeah, they did a good job.
Yeah, they feel right, and it's kind of a hard thing to make a toy gun feel
Yeah, I was gonna
good.
say they look plastic, but they don't feel like cheap plastic. I guess is the best way to describe it. Like
This
it
is
looks
your
like
high-end
a
water gun.
This is a high fidelity.
This is the
high-end.
Lambo of water
This isn't
guns.
like the dollar water gun that you
Yeah.
happen to get because you begged your mom for it on the way out. This is like the birthday present water gun.
Yeah, this is
Yeah.
the kid on the street that no one likes because he always gets the most powerful like water gun
Get the
during
best
summer,
water
and he's just like spraying everyone and unstoppable.
It's got a ton of fun water effects, and that is actually going to be something else that comes with this. Not only is the skin instant unlock, but it also comes with a loading frame at the very initial unlock. And you
Look
can
at
see
that.
it right there. A nice little sandcastle, beach-themed loading frame.
An adorable avatar there too that is also included in the battle pass, Leon.
The sunset. Yeah, it's an animated avatar too.
Yes.
All so fantastic. And I'm
So
excited because we've
fantastic.
only seen the one skin. We've only seen the one loading frame. Of course,
Yeah.
like every other battle pass, there's going to be other things that you collect along the way. But of course, at the big monuments at level 10, level 30, level 50, you're going to be getting skins. And, well, the level 10 one is going to be Shore Patrol Koga.
Yes,
There he is.
by popular
Look at
fan
the hair.
request, that shirt finally came off.
This is amazing.
I like his tattoo.
This is everything I wanted in a Koga skin.
You know, we do a lot of splash arts, but this one just came in so easily and just really nailed the attitude just right out of the gate. We, had a ton of fun going through with this one.
I love the World Championship logo on the
On the
board
surfboard,
too.
yeah. Everyone is just marveling at him too.
Yeah.
They cannot believe.
I mean, how could you not?
Yeah.
Look, everyone's just pointing.
At
even
that
the
point,
hang glider's looking
Yeah.
at him.
you're getting
You could shred cheese on
such
those
an
abs.
in-depth look at him. Like, everybody is obsessed with it. And, of course, now
Yeah.
we can take an even more in-depth look at him, hear some of his voice lines, which I've been told this voice pack is amazing.
Voice
So
pack.
let's go back to the turnaround.
Yeah, kills it.
The swell is prime, my board is waxed, it's time to shred the gnar. Watch out for rip currents and my abs. They'll both leave you gasping for air. Righteous! I'm friggin' stoked!
I'm trying to decide whether the voice lines or his hair is pulling me in as which one more. Because I love the hair,
Yeah.
but it fits, I guess, perfect surfer dude.
Yeah.
Koga.
Oh yeah.
Also,
Surfer bra.
shout outs to, I believe this was a mix of Charles and Garrett who wrote this. Charles, the infamous writer of Americana, if you love that one. So we think a lot of people are going to like this voice back.
And once again,
Water
the
effects.
water
Yeah.
sounds, the effects, everything about these guns so far has been phenomenal. And like you were saying earlier, like having to make it feel like the water tanks are there and like have the feel of a water gun while still shooting like an actual gun, like
Yeah.
that's impressive.
Oh no! Again, team pulled it off wonderfully. We knew going into this battle pass, again, the weapons were going to be the big challenge. We knew we could make great looking character skins, but really selling the idea of a premium water gun as being something people want to use. That was a big challenge. We were happy to go up against it. I think we came out on the side with a fantastic gun.
Also, like most of your lifeguards, will slice you down if need be.
Yes, I'm here to rescue you. Do not resist.
Fun on the beach with a water gun, and then just in case he needs it, he's got the blades.
Well, he's got to bring
pull out.
everyone back unconscious, right, to look like a bigger hero. So
And
you don't have to talk about how he gets there.
the dash looks phenomenal, and I have been told, and I know Cirxus is about to do this, the ult line is fantastic.
It's perfect. No spoilers, but we need to hear it in game for sure.
Go for the ult.
You're already dead,
I think there's like 8 VGS lines with bruh in them too.
Yeah.
I know Garrett came to me one day after they had done the
You're
voiceover
already
for this thing. They had enough of the word brah.
I could imagine why. Like, one day of recording, you'd be like, all right,
Yep.
never again. Like, they're gonna need 3 months off of this skin to be able to come back and appreciate it fully.
It's a
But I think
wonderful
everyone
skin.
watching is going to be very happy. Also, this is just a small detail, but I love like the tank, like the tank cap, I guess,
Yep.
on the back of the gun. Like again, just
That's
getting
on-
the feel of the water gun.
That was on Knessa too, except it was the lifeguard symbol on hers.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Thanks, my dude.
Oh,
So you want to know the worst
you-
part of playing in development builds is that GMs have unlimited ability to spam VGS, and Anthony is the worst offender. Like I just at the beginning of the game, he just like spams like 30 lines of VGS.
I never realized how much an inflection on the word bruh could then reveal like emotions. Like I understood when he was like bruh. It's like, oh, he means sorry. Like he's apologizing to you.
He's a Pokemon of the beach, really.
So when we sent out the casting notes, like we had the person do like 8 bruhs and did like bruh confused, like bruh sorry, like bruh apologetic, like that. And we so then listening to the casting notes, it was just like, oh, okay, now I gotta hear 8 bruhs from like 100+ people. Like here we go.
I know I'm going to be hearing that voice pack a lot
Yeah.
in
Oh,
game.
yeah.
Like
Have fun.
I mean, at level 10 too, so it's like it's easy
Right.
to
No-
get to
no
level
time to
10.
get
You're
to
going
it.
to be able to unlock that one almost instantly. Like you could accidentally get this skin once you have the battle pack, and that is going to be everywhere.
Oh, yeah.
Because he's all like with the ult charge change too. Is like Koga's going to be showing up.
We buffed Koga and
I'm here to rescue you. Do not resist.
buffed
Do not resist.
Koga.
Well, there's also a level 30 skin coming through. Another one that people have been requesting for someone to take their shirt off.
Quite
And-
popular request.
Yeah, it's Fernando. Chat, calm down. It's going to be coming through. And
Can
he
Talk about the
is
shark.
a handsome man.
Yeah, this splash art came in great, but of course everyone really had to talk about the shark in the background, probably the most.
There's angry shark, and then
yeah, angry shark.
What facial expression is that? I don't know how to describe that.
I mean, he's got the best view of Fernando on that board, if you know what I'm saying.
Oh yeah,
so,
absolutely, he is flabbergasted. He's speechless with that, but who's not speechless? It's going to be Fernando, so we can take a look at the turnaround and listen to his voice back.
These are some hot shorts. They're like normal shorts, but with me in them. Don't worry, I'm certified for mouth to mouth. Fantastic.
These voice packs.
These voice packs are
great.
phenomenal. I think I've used the word phenomenal more today than pretty much any other day in my life, but I think it's going to continue that way. I also love, like, the shield looks amazing. I love his tattoos, as well as the water fire.
Yeah, again, this was a difficult weapon to kind of translate a literal fire lance into an actual water gun, but we kind of leaned into some of the toy aesthetic to kind of land on some cool shapes, things that feel like, again, a high-end kind of water gun device.
That is not a water gun that I have ever seen. This is the new tech.
That's like,
Yeah.
I could imagine making that in real life, though, like something that shoots water out and then someone that just spreads it as much as it can.
Elon Musk should make this.
Yeah.
Get the flamethrower, get the water flamethrower. It's definitely a more technical feat to come through, but it looks awesome. And again, it sounds amazing. Like, the only way I can describe it is like thumb at the end of the hose kind of spray.
It's a water cannon.
Yeah.
Those effects, the shield, everything about
perfect.
this looks phenomenal. So here's the real question. You're removing the armor.
Yeah.
How'd you decide what tattoos both of these skins were going to get? Like, how did those come onto them?
The Koga one was done by our concept artist, Brian Wells, who came up with a really great idea. We just saw the dragon tattoo on Koga, and we're like, well, yeah, of course, that's it. Fernando, we knew we had to kind of play up something a little more fun, so the kind of rose, and he actually has sexy tattooed on him. So, you know,
That's
he's
up
got
there with the heart that says mom on it. Like, either one's perfect for him.
Yeah.
I really do love the materials on these weapons a lot.
Fernando even has a tattoo on him that was fan suggested that we ultimately included in the final model. If you spin the camera around the front of him, you can appreciate it.
That's a very ominous and dangerous sentence.
Yeah. Oh, it's hard. Yeah, it's hard to see a little bit in here.
From the angle, but you can definitely appreciate it in the lobby. But yeah, again, this was another skin we did with a lot of fan feedback. It was a whole lot of fun kind of getting everyone's input. And everyone really loved them. We were actually, or I should say, I was a little nervous trying to go the Harrier route initially, and that was one of the funnier aspects we got from fan feedback. They wanted a hairy-chested Fernando. They got it.
They got it. There you go. Everyone, I guess what you've wanted has been heard. I love this. Like, I mean, like you said, this had to be an interesting one to tackle because everything Fernando does has something to do really with fire.
Yeah.
And like just seeing the splash effects on like the ult, seeing the fireball there be not a fireball and just be this giant just lug of water being thrown at someone.
Again,
it's fun.
Our VFX team, led by Roland, they knock it out of the park every time. I mean, I basically walk into that department every time with just my thumbs up, just more than pleased with everything I'm seeing. And they definitely had a challenge ahead of them, and I think nailed it with getting these guns to actually feel like, again, high-end water guns.
And if this is a skin that day one you just cannot miss out on, you don't want to have to grind your Battle Pass to level 30. The Battle Pass Plus will get you to level 30. So you would get Canessa, the loading frame, you'd get Koga and Fernando, like all at once, plus anything else in those levels.
Yep.
So if you want to go through and get that, and it also gets you a little closer to getting the level 50 skin, which I think is going to be the one. I think I've seen this one maybe teased a little bit, but I think I'm more excited for this because I play a lot of Leon. It's going to be the Short Patrol Leon skin coming through. Again, the first thing I'm immediately drawn to is I love the hair, but a harpoon gun this time instead of just a typical water gun.
Yeah, Leon was one of the first concepts we kind of landed on originally, and we felt with her just a straight up water gun solely might be maybe a little too repetitious, so we kind of wanted to lean in more of a harpoon gun, give Leon a little bit more edge. So out of the whole kind of Shore Patrol group, she's the actual serious one.
Again, a lifeguard coming through. She's got the harpoon gun to save you this time around.
Gun. If those sharks get out of line, she's got it.
I'm excited to hear, because we have the turnaround and the voice back ready now.
Guard your lives. I'm on duty. Hope you idiots know how to swim. I became a lifeguard so I wouldn't drown in the tears of all the players I've nailed. Radical.
She's a scary lifeguard.
She's a scary
I don't know
lifeguard.
if I want to be rescued.
When the first line you hear is like, "Just guard yourselves." Like I'm on duty. Like she's gonna be taking a nap. She's not there to save you. She's just there to clock the hours and get paid.
She's got a harpoon. She has a knife.
Ooh, that sounds so good.
I love this weapon. I love playing with this weapon, by the way. It feels really good to play with.
The spin effect as well on the charge up shot. Like that's just. It's got, and like, I guess for the other ones, it's impressive to have like the water sounds to have those shots come through. But for this one, it was like get something meteor,
More
like,
steam powered
you
than
can feel
water.
it.
Yeah.
So good. I could listen to weapon effects all day. That's just me though. Being able to come through, of course, gonna get rid of her old self. She got the haircut
The slide is great.
fresh for
I love
this
the
as well.
slide.
Right? Like it's it's
Oh,
beach
the
time. You got to
effects.
make sure the long hair is not
look
keeping
good.
you too warm.
Gotta look good. Yeah, and the water effects with the slide are definitely some of my favorites. It feels so powerful.
That's really good
Yeah.
sound on that ult too. It just
Again.
sounds like a mass of water.
And like.
Go aggro.
It's weird to say this because it always sounds like an ult, but that sounds like an ult,
Yes.
right? Like
Real-
it comes through
real
and like
strong.
there's no mistaking what
Yeah.
just went through flying around.
Yeah.
And since I mean, this is perfect considering he has good
we
weapon
go to
sounds for
3P
someone
and-
who fires as much as Leon does.
Yeah, she does. We made a few changes with her gun
Also
on
got
the
the
skin
knife.
here. Her reload's a
Ready.
little different than her standard, as well as we kind of wanted to add a lot of interest to the skins. We did run into some issues with some previous skins on the core weapon design, but I think on any future potential Leon skins, we have a lot more options now, which is great.
I love
So-
the slide.
If I'm trying to go through my memory to make sure Canessa didn't have it, but she's got a backpack on just to be like this is like she's much more the utility lifeguard
Yes.
than any of the others that have come through.
Oh yeah, no, she takes her job kind of serious, and she'll
Maybe
save you
too
if she feels like it.
She's got the knife, a harpoon gun. She's ready to go in. She's maybe not saving your life, but she's gonna do something. We're just not sure what.
Let's snake 'em.
Well, that's a fantastic one. And so level 50, this is the one that you're going to come through, and I think it's a fantastic skin for that. But very similar to the last Battle Pass, every single one of these is going to be coming through with a recolor as
the
well
recolor.
to be able to go through with the Battle Pass Plus.
Yeah.
So, Canessa, Koga, Nando, Leon, all going to be coming through. I think we have the splash art for those, so we can kind of, I don't know if we want to cycle through splash art, turnaround, if we just want to do splash art, going to do splash art, turnaround. So that's going to be the recolor for it. You can see a nice blue coming through, and now you can look at the turnaround to see what's going forward with it. And I don't think this one has any voice lines on it to be able to look at,
No, we
so
can
we
talk
can just
about
kind of talk over.
Voice lines are
So with, I guess, the color changes that come through, like when you're making a recolor, what brings in the decision, like what colors you change to, how you want it to look, like what brings those to fruition?
It kind of always depends on the skin. On the Steel Forge ones, we had the barrack recolor where it really kind of turned him into more of a Draugr than a barrack. But on these, we just kind of wanted to go for more fashion-oriented options. So like, if you don't like the base swimsuit, maybe you like this one instead.
You can come through. There's going to be the Leon one. You're going to be rocking the bright yellow.
I'm actually a big fan of this Leon versus
I actually
her
really
base.
like this. These colors look really, really good together, and it matches. Like, it's weird because like I don't know a single thing about fashion, but I love the way her hair looks with this. But I might just like the way her hair looks. I'm attached to hair. That's what I'm learning today.
Designed this skin, and she just killed it. It was just one of those skin concepts we see come through. They're like, yes, that's it. Change nothing.
And I think we have the turnaround for this one as well to be able to kind of go through and look at. And there it is. Yeah. Very similar, as you could imagine.
Yeah, the
from
yellow's
the last
great.
One. Still has the knife at the ready, but the yellow, it's harder to read the word lifeguard, but based on the way she was acting, that's not a problem for her. She
She's just guard. There's no life in it.
Being able to come through. It's also going to have Fernando and Koga. I don't know which one's up next. There's going to be Fernando. So wearing the white trunks this time around, a nice white surfboard. And white
Admittedly,
gun.
there's not a lot on Fernando to recolor, but you can still appreciate it, especially in the weapon.
The thing I love is that no matter what, that one shark behind him is just perfectly in awe.
Yep.
And here you can see white and red is Like, I guess it's just the inverse of what it would have been before, because that's typically the lifeguard colors. But having the white be more prominent, it feels very, very solid.
Yeah, it just tends to pop.
And then there's Koga, once again coming through. Now I'm looking at the details. I'm less distracted by how great Koga looks without his shirt. Again, seeing how many people are looking at it, seeing at him, and seeing whatever they can do. Like, it is just incredible. But there's going to be a little more white again coming out on top, the red and yellow.
The yellow trim.
Yep.
And he's
yellow
looking
trim.
good. And again, all these recolors will be in the Battle Pass Plus, so you can come through. And again, if you happen to like the other colors, maybe a little stronger than their base skin, you can always go forward and get those. And with that, there's also a couple other skins that are coming into this one. Not in the Battle Pass this time around, but gold skins that are going to be coming through for 2 champions that I think everyone's going to be excited for, because now they're getting, I guess, doubled down. So one's Canessa and one's Leon. Oh, that looks so good. Oh, that looks awesome. All right, I've got a new skin.
Canessa's getting a lot of love this patch.
Yeah.
She deserves it. I love Canessa. That looks so fantastic. And then there's Leon.
Leon is great.
I love, so this is like probably a really weird question. I don't know even how this would come about, but like, how do you decide which parts are going to be like golden cloth or like the black cloth?
We used to at one point kind of really push for a lot of presents kind of like black cloth versus golden cloth, but I think over time we're just dialing up the gold more than ever. We find that a lot of people just really like things shiny, and it does feel more of that mastery, like I'm just decked out head to toe in as much gold as possible. So we try to minimize the level of black present in the masteries now. And now that we can do really good looking metal, it tends to really amplify like the quality.
Well, we also have a new DLC that's going to be coming with this update. It's going to be the Sacred Wolf DLC, which I believe is going to be a first for Paladins.
Yeah, this is the first wolf mount in Paladins. We were talking a little bit before, and Thunderbrush pointed out that it's not technically the first wolf in Paladins, because we have Full Moon Victor.
We do have Full Moon Victor.
But the first wolf mount, and you can see, really awesome. This will be available as a DLC during the kind of mid-patch, similar to how we have been doing DLC in the past. It's going to be available August 14th for $9.99, and you will get 200 crystals with it as well.
And if I remember correctly, 200 crystals is, what, $4.99, around $5?
It's around $5.
So you're essentially spending $5 for an awesome new mount to be able to come through, which is perfect to come through. And you can see it right there again.
Nice little bonus.
The first wolf, and it looks fantastic. But like you said, that's going to be coming a little later than just like, so the update will come out, and then a little bit later the DLC will come through.
The update we're shooting for like mid-July.
Yeah, so it'll be slightly afterward, but you can wait just a little bit to be able to find yourself that. And the other big news I think coming in for this right now is that we have a Discord.
Yes, we launched.
It's been launched.
Yeah, we launched on Discord this morning, so you are able to download and play Paladins from the Discord store as of, I think, right before the update show. You not only can play and download Paladins through Discord, but now we also offer awesome new perks for Nitrate users. So each month you will get a combination of diamond chests and gifts for your friends. So some gifts for you and some gifts for your friends. You can head on over to discord.gg/paladinsgame, which is our official server, to learn more.
And I think at this point I'm going to have to re-up my Nitro. I'm gonna have to double down on my Discord usage. Being able to come forward with it. But that's gonna be really big. Again, you can just go through, join that one, and make sure you are a part of the Discord. The other thing we have going on for this is that there's a ton of skins, or a ton of champions, I should say, that didn't have direct purchase skins. So if you happen to play this one champion a ton, you would have to go through a chest for who knows how many skins before you could potentially get one for your main. And we're changing that a little bit now.
Yeah, specifically 20 champions before today, actually, it's available now, did not have direct purchase skins, and we're going to change that, and they're all epic level or higher skins. These are incredible skins. A couple of them
really
are
good.
Pretty recent. I'm just going to run through the list, so forgive me while I do that. So Legionnaire Atlas, Exarch Genos, Renegade Lex, Omega Dredge, Nightmare Fernando, Aurora Furia, Grobot, Iron Madam Inara, Overlord Khan, Battlesuit Eagle Eye Canessa, Omega Koga, High Elf Leon, Cuddly Makoa, Shadowlord Maldamba, Cuddly Moji, Mercenary Strix, Trick or Treat Talus, Omega Terminus, Dark Lord Torvald, Archangel Tyra, Omega Vivian, and Omega Zen. So those are all really cool skins, pretty recent skins too. They are going to be priced at 800 crystals each. You'll be able to pick those up. They are priced a little bit higher than our other direct purchasable skins because they are of higher quality, and they're also directly purchasable. So if they are in a chest or an event, we're able to sell those for cheaper, but because they're directly purchasable, they're a little bit more expensive. But we think they're worth it. They're really cool.
And Sal, anyone who happens to main, well, let's say just one of those champions, and you didn't have a skin before, you are going to be able to go forward with it. But now is the time, everyone. Now is what you have been waiting for. The reason we have a wig on Kevin right now, the reason we all convened, and that is that we have a new champion coming out, and that is going to be Io.
We watched you for eons, waiting, dreaming of the day we might meet. It wasn't supposed to be like this. Pieces of us hurtled toward your embrace, along with something else. The darkness. We were broken, unwhole, unworthy of your servant's kindness. But to see them broken too, they do not deserve this. We do not wish to fight, but we will do what we must. There is still hope left in the realm. And so I am here, so no more will be broken.
I'm going to double down and say, yes, I absolutely think you could rock the outfit.
Really? This hair is way longer than I thought, too. I don't know.
Oh, yeah, it goes pretty far down.
Sarah's going to have a fun time with this. It's already all over my shirt.
But everything coming through, I think we're starting to see potentially why a lot of the last couple of, the Bazaar, when we saw Shattered Desert, there's a little bit more to do with the moon, little fox statues all over the map.
I love, people are already, like I've been keeping up with the Reddit and people's theories about Io, and, going back to Shattered Desert with the little spirit fox running around the tree in the spawn, someone's like, I think a week into it, someone made a post about like what it could be, alluding to Io, and then obviously we released Bazaar. We had the full statue of Io like sat there in the center. People finally got a glimpse of the shattered goddess herself. So I'm really excited about Io, and I hope you guys will love her.
I think you will. I think we actually do have like the splash art. Obviously, you just got to see her in the cinematic, but you can kind of see, again, the freeze frame, soak it all in, her as well as her fox standing right next to her. Yeah. And Blue, you're just so adorable. I'm sorry, I'm distracted. There's a dog at the table.
It's a great dog.
And admittedly, for a good reason. You missed the yawn. I'm sorry, everyone in chat.
Yeah.
But we also have the turnaround and the voice pack to be able to kind of listen to that, and then we can dive more into her lore.
Even the smallest being can alter the course of the future. I once knew a joke, but now, how did it go? Our light encompasses all.
The battle is about to begin.
So I noticed you're missing the long braids, but
yes.
Admittedly, as I have learned with a wife that cosplays, braids on wigs make them obnoxiously heavy. So it's probably for the better right now.
Yeah, Sarah made this headpiece because she's making this full cosplay, I believe, for HRX. She made this in the last 2 days. And it took her like 16 hours to do that. So she dedicated a lot of time to get this for me for Patch Note Show. So here's Io.
Yeah.
Where do we start? Where are we starting here?
I'm gonna throw it out. She is a support.
Yes.
And I think like all the stuff, like her health, the abilities we can go into, but just the backstory. Who is Io? Why is she here?
So yeah, if you listen to the lore video right there, Io is essentially, she is the moon goddess, basically the moon herself. And then an unknown corruption collides with the moon and shatters the moon, and obviously because Io is the moon and the moon goddess, shattered along with it. And that's how you have both Io and her fox, Luna. They're essentially the representations of the moon in Paladins, and there's been people that have worshipped this moon goddess Io for eons and eons and eons. And now that the Magistrate has kind of marched onto the Moon Shards and Shattered Desert, and the people of Bazaar, Io has come back to defend her people and take her rightful place as the Moon Goddess.
And so, as was said, anyone who is a support main, rejoice, because you are getting a new support to be able to come through and play, which I think just on base should be exciting. But I think going into who she is, what she does, is going to be even more impressive. But just going to throw it out there. You see 2,400 in the bottom left. She does have a card right now increasing her health. Her base health is 2,200. And so going to be a support, still on the lower end, a little easier to kill off, but not the weakest champion. Evie still holds that title.
Yeah, she has standard support health, the normalized 2,200. So she is going to be just as killable as any other support in the game, but obviously you can modify that through a health card.
And you also will be able to modify that through some of the abilities we'll get to later, but the first one that you see obviously might recognize it if you've been playing the game for a long time as well, or at least in essence of what it is, but is the light bow.
This is the light bow. It has no fall off and it fires 400 damage crescent energy basically every 0.6 seconds. So this is support that can obviously not really deal a ton of damage, but it's very consistent chunkiness.
Yeah.
So it's the same damage as Maldamba, slightly slower, and it doesn't have the arc. And with no fall off, you can actually do a good amount of assist damage to help secure teams for your kill.
I'd argue it's the scariest kind of damage because it's just low enough that you're not going to register it.
Yep.
But it's unless you're the one dealing it. Like you're going to notice if I hit 4 shots, that's 1,600. But if you're getting hit 400 every now and then, you might be able to glance over it. But she comes through, so has a little bit of damage and a little bit of bite to her. And then her alt fire is going to be where her heal is. It's going to be the Moonlight.
Yes, so Moonlight, I was going to hold and channel Moonlight into an ally, healing them for 135 every 0.15 seconds. This is our first healing resource, or our first really resource champion that their entire heal is dedicated on that. So you're going to see this is a little bit similar to Ceres when you start to aim. So you actually have to look at your target and hit them, and then once you're connected to your ally, you're actually able to get a little bit more leeway to look away if you just want to move slower instead of fast like that. So connect the heal and look a little bit to the left. You can see that it will hold on. Anthony, go a little bit slower. Yeah, and you can see you connect to him and then move it slowly to the right until you break it. Now we have to wait for Moonlight to
a little bit
regenerate.
Of leeway on either side that you can kind of look around.
So it's
not precision, but you still have to be in the area.
It's important to note that it's precision to initiate it, so players can select their targets with refinement when a lot's going on. But then you connect to the player and you get a lot more leeway to move left or right. Important to note too, if you actually break that threshold of how far you can turn left or right, you'll reattach if another player is in the area. So you can see it kind of jump here if we get energy filled up a little bit more.
You need that. And that's actually, I guess, the other thing, because you can look at it here.
Yeah.
You have that Moonlight bar.
Yes.
Where it's like you cannot heal if it's empty. So you're going to have to kind of use your heal a little more safely.
Yeah.
Like you're going to have to pay attention to this resource.
And the important part about a resource healer, too, is that once you're initiating the heal, you have to retain on it. So a lot of the heals in our game are just like point and click.
Yeah.
I'm going to initiate it, and then I can go immediately to damage. So Io specifically... that's not intentional, so we will get that one fixed. We have a long PTS. We did not mean that. I've never seen that bug. So make sure to play her on PTS and give us your bug reports and feedback. But she is going to have to choose between like sticking and healing on an ally or trying to fight them and use other abilities, because it's not just, okay, I've used my heal, now I can go back to using my other abilities. It's an active choice for the IO player to have to make decisions mid-fight on what's the best course of action.
And there she is in the emote. Now I feel confident being able to go forward with it. I wanted to make sure he wasn't locked out.
Yes.
But we brought Blue onto the show, and not just because it's always awesome to have a puppy come through and be on the show, and though I do know that I'm going to gloat to FDOT about that later, but it is because Blue was a voice for the game.
Yes, Blue is actually the voice actress for your pet fox Luna.
Your guardian spirit.
Your guardian spirit. So this ability is called Guardian Spirit. You summon Luna to fight alongside you. She will also rush and stun enemies that have been marked by your light bow every 15 seconds. And then she can be resummoned to a new location every 8 seconds. So this is, oh yeah, that's the death stamp. It's called Grilled, so have fun. So the big thing about this is you know, we wanted to make a pet tamer. Because we don't have a character that actually generates a pet or controls them. But having the pet kind of run wild in our world can get a little bit messy.
Yeah.
So we really wanted to make this specific pet stay in one location when you use it, but feel alive. So you can see we put a lot of effort, and shout outs to the animation and our tech artist who put a lot of effort into Luna to make her feel alive and active, right? She floats, she feels almost like a character, she's very obvious. So this isn't something that players should ignore. I think it's important to note that. Like, her design is based around her both having this channeled heal and also controlling this fox and moving it around. So it's an 18-second cooldown actually to first deploy her, and then when she dies, it's another 18 seconds. But every 8 seconds, you can move her around, which you're seeing Anthony do right now.
And not only are you seeing that, but that she's also one of the, I guess, I don't know if it counts as deployable pet, I guess is the best way to word it, but can capture the objective. You can leave Luna on the point.
So part of making this character feel alive is giving her the ability to actually capture objectives, which in playtests has been very interesting. We've had people drop Luna on the point and then go on the siege engine and then go off and fight others. We've seen her just contest, right? Just drop and contest. You know, sometimes you're on those 99.99. Sometimes Luna can buy you that extra time. She has 3,500 health at base, and she does not disappear after time. There's no time limit on Luna. You only have to kill her to get the resummon. She also has out-of-combat healing, so if players stop focusing her, she'll start to regenerate her health. In addition to that, she is affected by Bulldozer. She is a pet similar to Amani's Dragon, which is how we modified what Bulldozer did when Amani released.
Man, this is the year of Bulldozer. Like it went from being like just almost no reason to buy it unless they happen to stack up Inara, Barrack, and Ying on one team to that item is 100% worthwhile coming through here, and I think that's going to be interesting because, like you said, cooldown is very large if it does die off. So as the Luna player, or as the IO player, you have to keep track of your health bar, not only yours, not only your teammates, but also wherever you happen to leave your pet.
And can we actually take a look at Luna's attacks? I don't think I mentioned it, but she actually has an attack chain. So it's a light, heavy attack chain. So it's a little bit of damage into a hard hit at the end. What's really cool that I like about this is that she has a little bit of intelligent tech with her, that she will actually focus the player that Luna has that Io has marked last. So you can see the stun is also only initiated through this, and it has a 15-second timer. You have a quick little glance at the bottom left-hand of your screen. We have a Luna icon that's really just there for you to glance and see the cooldown. You see once it comes up, it flashes. The player on the receiving end of this gets a very unique tell. They have like a Grumpy Bomb style indicator, so we want to make it obvious to players. And you're just going to be moving Luna around through the world. You could see this aura. We haven't mentioned this aura around her. This is actually her first talent. So the first talent, her default lifelink, actually grants an AoE healing aura. So that's why you're seeing that aura. It won't be there by default.
So that's going to be something that you can choose or change. Of course, I think everything already in this kit, I'm going to say that this is very, very heavy. Like the players that are like cognizant are going to be so amazing. Like I'm excited for IO highlights because I want to see what is going to be accomplished with her.
That's one of the big things I wanted to bring into this champion specifically, is I wanted it to feel like a player could jump in and play IO and it feel easy and they feel effective, right? Like look at an ally, hold the heal. You are attached to them. You get a little bit more leniency on left or right. You can kind of wave over your allies and switch targets, very friendly, but you can also disengage the heal and then re-engage because it goes back to that direct trace, and so you can be really accurate in the middle of team fights if you're that skilled on who you want to heal. And then Luna, as by nature, right, you just place her and she can be useful. She's going to attack people. She'll heal allies if you're using that talent, but really good players can be intelligent with her, like hide her around corners, move her, We actually have one of our better players in our playtest was playing a very interesting flank IO style, where what he would do is he would actually place Luna behind a wall, and then he would actually be fighting people and mark them, and then move Luna to them, so once Luna got to the location, they would immediately initiate the stun. So there's a lot of small, intricate things you can do, and I think at base, you're just going to have this thing be able to aid your team naturally.
And that, she just blows it out of the park. Like, this is amazing already. And again, there's still 2 more abilities. One of them, admittedly, compared to the rest of the kit, there's not as much that you need to know about it, and that is actually the next one. The Lunar Leap, it's a backflip. It's a get me out of here, I need to be safe.
So this actually, this ability doesn't do any like damage or effect. This is strictly an ability for you to get away quickly. She has a number of cards with this. You can see the shield on top of it.
Yeah.
And I think we have the Skywalker card equipped right there too. So there's a card that actually, as you're firing your lipo, you get reduced gravity. And air control. So if you want to attach, can we just attach rank 5 of Skywalker? And then this is going to reduce your gravity by a lot.
So you can stay up.
You're going to be able to carry that momentum a very, very long way.
There it is.
There it is.
You're still going.
Yep.
And, you know, on Bazaar, there's not as much, I want to say high ground. Like, right there, I think it's more noticeable, but, like, when you're looking at a map like, let's say, Timber Mill, even though it's getting, I think, taken out of the ranked rotation, like, you're playing this in casuals, you just backflip from building to building. Like, you're just all of a sudden on the other side of the map.
And you're going to be pretty vulnerable, right? So I think a lot of people have been more experimenting with this at 1 or 2 points. The big point is, like, with your backflip, you can carry your momentum a little bit, get further away, reposition yourself, control yourself around corners. And this is important to note, this card only works while firing, right? So there's a limited time that Io is going to be up there. She can't just sit in the air. There's also a card that does this with her heal as well. It's called Moonwalk. So you can be healing, backflip, and then also just continue to heal while carrying your momentum and flying through the sky.
So a lot of stuff that, like you said, can kind of augment this Lunar Leap to make it more than just a Lunar Leap. It can be a little more.
Yeah, and you also don't interrupt your heal when you Lunar Leap. So if Anthony, if you can show just if you're healing someone and then you backflip, you can continue healing them. I think that's very important to not break her heal in that instance.
So that way you can still disengage but be effective in the fight. Like, you're not taking yourself out of the fight fully. You're still going to have some
And we're not
impact.
kicking you to 3P either. So you can kind of get that, like, I'm doing this backwards fade away, like firing my bow or healing an ally.
Again, the montages.
This is Champion the Montage.
Champion the Montage.
Or Montage the Champion. I reversed that.
And now we have one more. You can see in the bottom right of the screen, the ultimate, and it's called Be Gone.
Be Gone. So Io projects an ethereal manifestation of Luna. Sends it forward. Enemies caught will be pulled along the travel path, and they'll take 800 damage when it collides with the wall. So this ability can actually ride both the ground and ramps, which is an important part of it. We were kind of looking like, what did we not have? In an ultimate, and we really didn't have anything that carried players for a support, right? We have Genos that's like line beam damage. We have Ceres that's like deployable, pull players in. We have Maldamba Sphere that's like
push players
out, but we don't have like grab and reposition. And so we've had a number of very interesting play tests with this ability, right? This is an ability that can strengthen depending on map, right? You can like fire people off edges. I know Rafe actually, I've seen him do some really nasty stuff on Fish Market as players are trying to push. So this is an ability that has, I think, a wide range of uses.
Yeah, and kind of like, it's a weird way to describe it, but if you want to, like, anytime that you would have seen a Torvald ult that could be effective, this can kind of hit the same place. It's a little harder to connect, but also a little easier to connect at the same time. So again, riding that thin line of awesome.
And you have full control of positioning toast, so you can fire it, and then it doesn't actually fire, so you can re-aim after you've started the channel if you would like to.
Okay.
If we can, I don't know if Anthony showed that off already. Yeah, so you can reposition, doesn't fire until you actually launch it. You can ride up ramps. Can you actually ride it up one of the ramps there, Anthony, too? Oh, it's so good.
So I'm already, again, I'm seeing a backflip 360 ult push kill 5 people. Like, if you manage that play at any point, either on PTS or on live. I want to see it. Like, I want clips.
I'm very, very happy with how this champion has come out, and I really want to give another shout out to like our animation, VFX, and tech art team specifically. Like, they put a lot of work into refining this, right? Like, the VFX are amazing. I love moving Luna around. Her stun feels fluid. She actually, I don't know if we saw it, but Luna's stun actually does like, she stuns the player and then actually does a backflip animation kickoff.
Yeah.
And then like travels back into the wisp form. Just moving her around feels super fluid. And I think we have a number of cards too that let you, we tried to get a play your way style into it.
And I forgot I had more I needed to talk about because we haven't even talked about the talents.
Sorry, I've been really
forgotten about.
I have been anxious about this character for so long, just wanting to show her off.
It's just, there's just so many cool things in all of the abilities that it's fun to be able to dive in depth with them. But there is still more that we have to cover with her. And that is, like you said, default is this lifelink talent, which is the AoE heal.
Yes, so it's 300 health per second AoE heal. It's, I believe, a 20 or 30 foot radius, so much significantly smaller than Grover, but has the same properties that it's going to go through all. But players need to be obviously much closer to Io, or I'm sorry, the Luna to receive that benefit.
And then the next talent, the one that you would unlock at level 2, is going to be called Goddess's Blessing.
Yeah, so we have the AoE heal talent, and then we really wanted a pocket. I wanted a pocket talent that allowed players to be like, okay, I'm going to just like benefit this one person. So Goddess's Blessing, allies being healed by Moonlight receive 15% reduced damage. We also have a card that increases allies being healed movement speed, so I think there's some cool combos to do that. So really, if you have like one primary tank that you're trying to keep alive, you can sit there and channel not only healing to them, but also damage reduction. So that's a very strong combination.
You thought Inara was hard to kill before.
Yeah.
Let's see how she does now.
Here's a Cassie getting healed. Yeah.
Yeah, and you can see like the difference in how much those arrows are chunking with and without the heal. But then coming forward, there's one more talent at level 8 called Sacrifice.
Yeah, and then we wanted a little bit of a greedy talent for Io herself. We wanted something that allowed her to stay alive. In situations like, oh, I'm against multiple flanks, I want to get dove a lot. How do I stay alive? So Sacrifice, if Io falls below 200 health while Luna is active, she has to be active. She trades places with Luna, heals, and Luna dies in her stead. It's the saddest talent, but it's really good.
And incredibly selfish.
Also, don't know me, Anthony. I will say it is some of the it's a very sad death sound of the fox. It is very sad. I hope you all get attached to Luna.
Well, hey, you know what?
No one's gonna play this.
That works even better.
Talent.
Because now people like they don't want to hear it. They don't want to hurt the fox. So they're going to be like, well, I mean, we're just Luna. We're not gonna do it. Like we can't kill Luna. Sorry guys. Like, we're just gonna.
You're gonna spray your own Luna's death. Yeah, so Sacrifice, it's got a 60-second internal cooldown too, so this is not going to happen every time.
Yeah.
And then when she trade places, she can heal. For players that are looking for counters for this, she's got that delay. You're going to be able to see where she goes, so you get a little bit of read on it. Again, like, there's a lot of strategies with how to play, I think, Io, right? So, like, Sacrifice, like, hiding Luna in a room, so in case a flank ganks you, right? Because you're not going to get that AoE heal, but you still have powerful in-hands, you have powerful heal. You can bring Luna into stun players, and then, like, if she's off to the side, you can trade places with her when you would take a killing blow, basically.
And keeps you alive, keeps you safe.
Yes.
But again, like you said, it's a little more selfish overall. And it's perfect because you have the AoE heal, like I'm going to be your healer. You've got the pocket, I'm going to keep my tank alive. And you've got the, I don't care about you guys. I'm keeping me alive.
Yeah,
like,
this was actually the talent.
You guys get out of here.
This is actually the talent that one of our better players in our playtest was using for the flank IO. Which was pretty effective. You had to really think about it.
I can imagine. Like,
it took me a second. I'm like, oh man, he's really using that the Sacrifice talent. He's making good use of it, right? You kind of have to play around Io a little bit differently when she has that.
It's gonna be fun to see. Again, all I can think of now is just the amount of plays that Io can make. Like, there's so many cool ones. And again, like you said earlier, on paper, like you initially play Io, everything works the way it's intended. It's like a textbook. Right on there on paper, then it gets more in depth as you learn more about it. And we do also have, I think, some of the recolors, like the Mastery skin that came through.
This is our golden skin.
Oh, that looks really good. I'm distracted by her headdress and, well, Luna.
Golden Luna too. That's what I like about this. Yeah.
Screams, look at me. But I mean, coming forward again, I guess we looked at some of the golden skins earlier. Now we can see it in game. Golden Luna looks awesome.
Yeah.
She's shiny.
This is one of my favorite golden skins. I'm also incredibly biased because this is my first champion. But
I don't think.
What a coincidence.
this is my favorite champion. It's the best, the greatest champion ever made. That's what I said in the office until people got annoyed with me.
I mean, I talked about it a little bit online, but Io just as a character concept for us, we always land somewhere good, but she just kind of came together so quickly. It was kind of crazy. We just hit a sketch, and the group looked at it. And we're like, yeah, well, that's Io. We're making this. Just go.
Yeah, just go.
This is also the first champion that we've been able to show our AOC from like initial concept and like
all the way through.
Yeah, all the way through, and they love her. So.
And I believe that's the recolor there.
Yeah, this is a recolor.
Feral Io.
Mm-hmm.
Feral Io. I love
an orange look.
I was gonna say orange and blue it's another color combination that almost it never fails.
Yep.
And then
this is the season pass recolor.
Season pass.
Yeah. So
very much in line with like the Amani skins and the others that have come out.
Yeah. This is Starfall, only available in the season pass, so limited to players who purchase it. This is actually I really love this skin a lot.
Matches.
I forgot I'm in this headset.
I couldn't tell if you loved it or not.
After a while, it's just
I just like was natural. I completely forgot that I'm in this, and I just see myself on screen.
Well, we got to the bottom of the mystery. We figured out why you had the wig, why the headdress was there. I still think you should keep the blue mark on all day.
All day.
But,
all day.
Yeah.
It might get a little weird if you're going to like the store afterward or anything.
Yeah. I'm just gonna I could just like wear this all day and then just like grocery shopping at the end of the day.
And then continue your bout of best champion ever designed.
I am Io.
If they ask, you can just tell them about Io.
Yes.
And if they ask you a question you don't know, you just say, Io.
Huh? Okay, sis, please stop.
This is what I do.
That one's going to do it. Io comes through, and again, a lot of it's going to be coming in, and I think this is the point where normally I would say when is like the goal for PTS, like when will people be able to finally like get their hands on Io and play her?
Yeah, we're looking, before Friday is always our goal, and that's a goal that we've hit pretty much every single time with PTS, so before Friday, guys, we'll have it out before the weekend.
And I think the other thing we have is also the double XP.
Also, some cool stuff coming on this weekend. We have a double XP, or double Battle Pass XP event, June 22nd and 23rd. So we just showed you a brand new Battle Pass, but if you want to finish up your Steel Forge Battle Pass before this one goes live, you are welcome to this weekend.
Well, that's going to be fun. So you have something to look forward to, PTS as well as the double times Battle Pass experience. And of course, at this point, we might as well finish on blue. But just to say it, thank you everyone for tuning in. Thank you for watching the Sun and Moon Update Show. I think everyone's going to be excited for Io. I know I am. So hopefully you enjoyed that. But in just a little bit, we are going to be having Esports Weekly for anyone who wants to tune around and watch what's going on in the Paladins Premier League as of right now. Or you can go to the Reddit and theorycraft about all the fun ways you can use IO. Either way, thank you from myself, from everyone here, from everyone at Skillshot. We'll talk to you next time.